S-Ventures is the Aquis-listed investment company focused on high-growth opportunities. April has been busy with an equity fundraise and an ongoing retail offer with Winterfloods. Now, the majority of the funds will be invested into hybrid drones. And I'm delighted to be joined by Gavin Youll, the Chief Financial Officer of Hydra Drones, the maker of Hydra Drones. Thanks very much for joining us, Gavin. So what is Hydra Drones?
Good morning, Sarah. Yeah, thanks for having us on. Really appreciate the opportunity to speak to your listeners. So in terms of what we are, we're a UK-based drone business. We were founded in 2019 by a leading team of aeronautical engineers and academics. And it's a really nice story of kind of national sovereignty and resilience, which is something we're really proud of. So we're an all-British team. All of the IP, the engineering work and the product development has all taken place here within the UK during the last 6 years.
So in terms of the drones that you make, how are they different to other drones? What's your USP?
Yeah, so the UAV space is obviously very hot right now. Drones are everywhere in the news, you've no doubt seen that. And there are a lot of high quality UAV companies around right now. So what sets us apart is our focus on ultra heavy lift capability, which remains an underserved area of the market. And therefore we feel a vast untapped commercial opportunity. So it remains underserved because it's a very difficult nut to crack in terms of the engineering challenge. So yeah, we've been going for 6 years. We're now on to the third generation of our product. And yeah, it's taken, as I say, 6 years of intense R&D work to get here. So we're taking the product, the Hydra 400, to market right now. And the platform, it has a max payload capability of 400 kilos, hence the name, the Hydra 400. And when you combine that with the compact size of the platform, which makes it highly portable, is potentially a real game changer and is highly differentiated from the other offerings in the market right now. So just a little bit more background on that. So at the moment, the term heavy lift, it's generally applied to any drone with a payload capability over roughly, let's say, 50 kilos. And there are very few drones on the market right now which can exceed 150 kilos as a payload capability. So our 400 kilo capability, that's really moving the needle on things. And as you can probably imagine, that opens up potentially a number of new use cases for drone technology. You're potentially starting to replace helicopters for a fraction of the cost, and obviously you're not endangering any lives of the crew. So there are drones out there at the moment which can match us on payload capability, but they tend to be much larger than ours. Often they pretty much resemble mini helicopters. So our drone, it has a modular design, so it can easily be packed down and compacted. So to give you a rough idea, the dimensions are, it's less than 2 meters long by roughly 1.2 meters wide when it's compacted down. This means it's really easy to transport, so you can carry it in the back of a Land Rover. And that means it's very easily to deploy in the field on the fly. And we can also fit 8 of those units into a standard shipping container, which is really cool.
So for those unfamiliar with the abbreviation UAV, what does it stand for? And a second question, it sounds as though what you're making is more suitable for conflict situations.
Yeah, apologies for throwing in the acronyms without explaining them. So UAV stands for unmanned aerial vehicle. So it's just another term for a drone that's often used in the market. And yeah, our drone is actually dual use. So that means it has military applications, but also civilian applications. And we're very much focused on both of those potential opportunities.
Now, you have MBDA as an investment partner. It's owned by BAE Systems and is a missile systems group. So talk to me about MBDA and what relationship you have with that business that's mutually beneficial.
Yeah, we're really lucky to have MBDA as a partner. So the relationship, as you say, it is highly symbiotic. They led our last investment round. So they hold a meaningful equity stake in the business. So obviously, they will benefit from any future accretion in our enterprise value. They also potentially benefit from having access to the kind of cutting edge R&D work that we're doing. And they can have access to our platform to deploy some of their products, which they're really interested in. And then from our point of view, firstly, they obviously contributed some very useful cash in the investment rounds, which we put to good use to fund the R&D work. But they do also provide strategic value over and above that. So firstly, they're obviously a very large and trusted defense prime. They've got an array of awesome commercial relationships, particularly in the military world, of course. And they're already proving to be a really invaluable channel partner. So they're originating commercial opportunities for us and supporting the sales process. And then secondly, they also have a very deep bench of talented engineers. So they've been very good at supporting us with resources on that front too, as well as supporting us on a kind of senior, more strategic level. So they hold a board seat in a directorship. So all in all, yeah, we're really lucky to have them on board. They're a brilliant investor and partner.
So in addition to MBDA, you've got this money that's incoming from S-Ventures. How are you going to spend that money that's incoming once the retail offer with Winterfloods has completed?
Yeah, so we're currently raising £1 million, and that is going to give us runway through to early next year. So we've got a really exciting year ahead. We're currently in the process of completing our R&D phase. So we have already done the initial tests on the Hydra 400, but there's a little bit more testing to do to prove out all of the key capabilities. So actually, one of the unique aspects of the drone is the hybrid propulsion. So it uses a mix of electrical motors and jet engines, which was inspired by the tech that underpins the Harrier jump jet. And it's highly configurable, so you can run it just as a pure electric platform if you're trying to optimize for fuel efficiency, or you can configure it very quickly by adding on the jet engines. So you can add up to 6 jet engines if you want to achieve the max payload capability of 400 kilos. So yeah, we've got a little bit more testing to do just to prove out all of the different configurations and how they perform. But so far the testing's all going really well. We expect to complete that later this year, and then we can begin to commercialize. So the 1 million raise that we're doing is going to fund us through the testing, and it will allow us to start to commercialize. And then yeah, we'll plan to do another bigger raise at that point once things are more de-risked. Obviously,
Okay.
hopefully at a higher valuation.
In terms of risks and challenges to the business, though, I'm just wondering about regulation, because drones are increasingly associated not just with warfare and e-commerce, but nuisance activities such as voyeurism and flight path interference. So do you imagine that the drone space is going to become punitively regulated? And if so, are you prepared?
Yeah, that's a great point. The honest answer is the regulation is already here for us, because we're operating at the kind of larger, heavier end of the spectrum in terms of the drone world. So we are deemed to be a higher risk to public safety. So we are actually already subject to some regulation, which was introduced by the CAA in the UK, so the Civil Aviation Authority, a few years ago. So the regulation is known as SORA. In kind of basic terms, it restricts how, where, and when the drone can be operated, and it requires us to have all of the appropriate safeguards in place. So yeah, it is quite a technical and meaty piece of legislation. It's taken us a lot of kind of getting to grips with. Some legal and professional fees were deployed. But yeah, the good news is, and another really good milestone for the business, we actually received our SORA permissions just last week. So that gives us much more freedom now in terms of how we can complete the rest of our testing. And it makes it much easier to demo the platform as well to interested parties, potential customers. So yeah, that's really exciting.
So final question, what's the future for hybrid drones and Hydra drones? What are you hoping to achieve by the end of the year, for example?
So yeah, short term, as I say, it's all about just completing all of the testing. We do already have a really healthy order book that we're developing, so commercial interest. So we'll continue to do those demos and build the order book. We expect to start commercializing next year, and that's when the real kind of industrialization will begin. So we'll look for a facility where we can mass produce. So yeah, we'll really start to ramp up volumes from next year onwards. The really exciting thing about the opportunity is that because there are a number of different use cases across both the military and the civilian world, the addressable market is potentially huge. So yeah, in terms of revenue opportunity, we're talking like multi-billions of pounds of potential addressable market. So even if we capture just a small piece of that market, we're going to be in really good shape financially. So our objective is to be doing revenue in the range of 75 to 100 million by 2030.
Many thanks, and a quick reminder to our viewers, the Winterflood wrap closes this Friday the 17th. Contact your broker for details, and thank you, Gavin, for joining us today. All the best.
My pleasure. Thank you so much, Sarah.